On today's episode of Watch Share Go, we're working on Sebastian Vettel's super SUV. What is going on, guys? I'm Watch Share Go, and today I'm here with Scott, and he drives an Infiniti FX50S, one of the most unique Infiniti vehicles ever built. It has 400 horsepower, rear wheel steering, a V8. Sebastian Vettel has a customized version. Obviously this is not his, and it's not even the Sebastian Vettel version. That's a little bit clickbaity, but it's not really clickbait because they're so rare and production numbers are so low that you'll probably only see one or two of these in your life. It looks just like an FX35. There's really no difference externally. That's easy to see, at least. And it's a monster of an SUV. Look at this. It has factory 21s, rear wheel steering, self-leveling headlights. It just looks wonderful. Let's hop inside this beast. Lighted door sills, power mirrors, lane departure warning, top-down camera view, hard drive navigation the first year of that, heated and cooled seats, rear DVD, auto everything. It's just a super nice truck. So today we're going to change the spark plugs. We've got some Iridium IXs to replace these plugs that probably have 150,000 miles on them. Let's get to work. But also we've got another dream car here. This is Omar's E46 M3 with the hardtop. And he's over here because we're gonna plug his tire so he can get around for a little bit to get new tires. One of the local tire shops said they wouldn't plug it, even though it's like center tread, which makes no sense. But first, he is ripping his headlight apart to replace, to put the halo back on because it looks like it popped off. This is all you, man. I've never taken apart these E46 headlights.
What's going on, guys?
Do you have to actually pull the headlight out?
Yeah, it pops out here.
Gotcha.
So,
oh, nice, nice.
Sits on the side here.
Omar tried to turn me into AAA, had me come over to his house and deliver him some air so that we could air this tire up and plug it. This is a nice spec though. 6-speed and what's aftermarket Bluetooth, I guess?
Bluetooth, full Borla exhaust all the way through. Mola red interior, custom done hardtop as well. That's a BMW hardtop.
Yep. I saw it had the BMW glass in the hardtop. Oh, there's a JL sub.
Yeah.
A JL8 in the passenger footwell. Look at that. Aftermarket security. You got everything but the factory nav, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it comes the tech package of this one. I like this one.
Yeah.
So
the beast mode old inline 6 BMW engine that will never die.
Yeah.
But that's the last one. Oh man. Oh, I heard you.
Talking about her car sounds better than mine.
So that just snaps in?
Yeah.
I see. I see.
Everything's back on. I want to feel it pop off again so I know how hard I need to hit it.
I think we're going to have a mid-neighborhood race here.
Yeah. Everybody's out today. All right.
Oh wow, it really does.
And it's nice, you can clean everything one shot.
That's actually really cool. Do you want a microfiber?
No, should be fine. It's all on the outside.
All right, cool. BMW going back together. That was quick.
Yeah.
Cops are coming for you, Omar.
Yeah, we better close it. Let's go.
Let's get out of here.
You can pop that off, and it's got a convertible soft top underneath.
Yep. Yeah. It's a genuine hardtop though.
Yeah.
That sits on the convertible.
That's what was neat.
Go ahead, Omar. This is all you. So, here's some needle nose. You're gonna have to really put some power into it to get around that little tiny nail. He has the littlest nail in there. That was quick.
Yeah, we got it.
You're a beast.
We're in there.
All right, run the reamer through it.
Yeah.
At least twice. And you can leave it in there for now so it doesn't leak any air. I'll get you a plug set up. Yeah, you're gonna have to push crazy hard. What happens when you mess with these low pros? Get it in there?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. All right, just leave it in there.
About how many pounds of pressure you think the tires are in?
He's probably down to 30 now, but we've got an air tank, so it's not like it matters. Unlimited air here.
Whew.
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
Hold on, I'm gonna lube this up really well for you. Shove it in there as hard as you can, about halfway on the plug, and then rip it out.
All right, ready?
Go ahead. Go, 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 go! Oh, dude, you're a monster. A little bit more. It's hard to get under those things, that's for sure. You gotta go a little bit farther. A little bit farther. It's definitely not all the way through yet. There it is. Rip that thing out. Nice. You did it. Nice work. That was the most encouraging tire plugging session I've ever been a part of. That was awesome. All right, let me trim that off for you. I'll grab a razor blade and we'll get it nice and clean. We're gonna drive this monster. Is this the, when you lock the security, is this the one that scans back and forth?
Yeah, it looks like a RoboCop. Yeah.
Knight Rider? Yeah. Oh man, that was my favorite security thing.
Yeah.
Runs like a champ. Alright, I had to make sure those guys were clear there. You didn't scrape, did you?
No. Luckily, no.
Champion. Did the rev limit already raise? It looks like it did. I think the rev limit's like 5 when it starts up and it's cold, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, this thing drives well. What a beast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's real smooth.
It is. How many 87,000 miles?
Yeah, it's a baby.
Yeah.
It's an 05. So
I was gonna say most of these things have tons of miles on them.
And it's got a short shifter too.
It doesn't have an M button though.
So,
it's like
it does. It's the Sport.
Oh, okay,
that's what it is. Same thing as here.
All right, I gotcha. Cool.
So much more responsive.
When'd you buy this car?
About a year and a half ago. Bought it from San Francisco, California. Drove it 29 hours and 34 minutes back.
That's the best way to get a car, man.
Oh yeah.
It's sometimes like you gotta ship them sometimes.
Yeah,
but
I went to Vegas.
Just, yeah,
good time.
Fly and drive. Man, this thing's smooth. That would have been a fun trip home.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man, flying at around 100 miles an hour the whole way back. It was comfy.
The suspension's sorted.
Yeah. It's fun.
Super fun. All right, man, car rocks. Feels super tight. Thanks for letting me drive it.
No, anytime, brother.
All right, have fun.
Yeah.
And now on to the Sebastian Vettel SUV. That thing sounds great.
Change those.
All right, now we get to figure out how to disassemble this FX50, and it's involved from what I can tell. That feeds down into both air boxes. We got that out. It had the wrong fasteners in it, so we ended up breaking the fasteners. We just pulled until they broke. So we're gonna have to put different fasteners in there, the kind that have the little center that pulls out instead of a big, thick Christmas tree. We can get the air boxes out and hopefully make this a lot easier to get to. So here we go. I should probably grab my cordless impact to get this done. We're just wasting a lot of time here. We can get the MAF sensors off. This thing has dual MAFs. Check that out.
Nice.
Crazy. Pull this air box over here. Spark plugs on this thing are no joke. We're gonna be out here for another hour.
Yeah, but the difference is gonna be awesome.
I think so.
When's the last time you changed them?
Never.
Never? Yeah.
143,000 miles ago.
JR knows what he's doing.
I mean, maybe if I can get this clip out. Okay, airbox 1 is out. And the other airbox is ready to come out. There we go. The most ridiculous thing I have ever seen. Whoever invented this, I don't know what to say about them.
Hated you. Hated everybody.
I think we have a new candidate for worst engine cover I've ever had to remove. I got those 2 bolts out. You have to like shove your arm in here like this with a ratchet wrench at a 12. And yeah, it's pretty annoying. So now we can come in here and grab the last 2 that are right there. And they're 10s. You're probably gonna want an impact for this because it's pretty excruciating otherwise. And your impact's gonna get stuck on things. Getting this cover off literally took like 20 minutes. That's by far the worst cover I've ever seen. Man, this thing looks fancy. Dual overhead cam V8, what a monster. It almost looks like an LS with that big plastic intake too, that's pretty cool. Now we're gonna go ahead and pull these intake boots off. Wiggle these bad boys out of here, loosen this up. Second intake boot's off, and now I can finally get to the coil packs. So that wasn't too bad. It takes 30 minutes to get to the coil packs, and you can start pulling these plugs out. So with everything off, and we finally got a little light in the engine bay, we can pull the coil off. Start with the first coil pack right here. Their coil unplug, super easy to work on. Of course, just getting that connector off might take a bit for the first one. It's under all the wires for the engine harness there. Break it loose with your 10mm. Make sure you don't drop the bolt, and pull your coil pack out. There it is. So you'll need a 14 and a 6-7 inch extension, something like that, to get down in there, and probably a huge ratchet to break these if they haven't come out in a while. And these ones have definitely not been out in a while. I was having no luck getting those until I went and grabbed this 1/2 inch ratchet. If you don't have a 14mm spark plug socket with the rubber retention in the end, you're gonna need a grabber tool or something like that to get the plugs out. So I went and grabbed my grabber tool, and this plug is loose. Let's see if I can get it out. Absolutely not. There's the first plug. It is a Denso Iridium. I'd say that is completely stock. Look at that. I mean, honestly, it looks like the combustion is great. It's a really weird electrode though. Even putting the new plug in, you're gonna wanna grab your grabber tool, get it all set up on the very end of the spark plug, and then gently guide it down in there and get it started, probably with your grabber tool, so you don't end up cross-threading it. There's nothing really wrong with this, just Meineke said replace the plugs, and Scott was like, all right, let's do it. This is by far the worst spark plug job I have ever done in my life. Okay, maybe the LT1F body is equally as bad, but this is not fun. Look at what I've got in here to do this. 14, swivel, 3 inch, 1 inch, all of that. And then to break them, I have to use the 1/2 inch with a 1/2 to 3/8. And then to tighten them, I have to switch back to my 3/8 after I get this all the way down in them. Carefully no doubt. And then you have to start them by hand for like a 1/2 hour to make sure you don't cross thread anything. You should probably allot 2-3 hours for this job. 3 hours if you're being lazy, 2 hours if you want to get after it. It's a time-consuming beast. What'd they quote you for this job?
$459.
That's with parts?
Parts and labor.
So 200 in parts, 200 in labor, if you put the lasers in them. Cool. Well, it's probably a $400 job, honestly. You gotta go, I think it's 12 complete turns, and then a 1/4 turn to tighten these. Has a full inch of thread on them, so it is deep down in that cylinder. So Scott's been over here reassembling this side. He got the coils back in, he got the connectors back on the coils, and he finished that back spark plug. And while he was doing that, of course, I've got all the hoses off this so we could access it. We had to pull this 10mm bolt on the coolant line there to give us a little bit of room. It lets you wiggle this around a little bit. We had to pull off PCV line, vacuum lines, all kinds of stuff in here. I had to pull the entire coil pack harness off and break all the connectors. I mean, I didn't break any of them. I had to take my needle nose pliers and squeeze each connector to release it. And then I got all those out. I've got almost every bolt out of these coils. We've just been grinding away over here, and we're ready to reassemble that side. So I'm going to hop over there and start throwing it back together as fast as I can. Onto the passenger side. We are making good time now. It took a long time to get to this point though. We probably spent 2 hours out here, and now we're moving right through these. And the last bolt from the back coil pack is out. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see how easy it is to get the coil pack out now. Amazing. I don't even understand how this stuff works. It's well engineered. There's one. Hopefully this one clears. Every time I work on this, I'm like, there's no way this is coming out. It comes out perfectly. But Nissan just has all the best engineers in the world, apparently. You can work on their engines, they last forever. 150,000 mile engine without a single spark plug change. Honestly, pretty impressive. This is our handy remove plugs from an FX50 setup. It's absolutely ridiculous, but I'm still not upset about it because it sure gets the job done and we're moving right along. Scott's finishing up that last one right there, getting it loose. Fishing that last spark plug in and out on either of those rear cylinders is a lot of fun. I can't tell you how much time we spent trying to fish that out with the grabber tool. This wouldn't have been a big deal if I had a 14mm spark plug socket. In and out job. Well, with a bunch of swivels and crazy extensions and everything like that. Got it. Oh, what a chore that was. All right, every plug in this thing didn't look bad. You can see the color there. Not white, it just looks like a nice clean combustion. A little bit of oil on the threads, nothing much, nothing above it, just blow by. So this ended up being, what, 3-hour job? We might have taken a break in the middle of it and gone out to find food and then failed at finding food and bought yogurt instead, but it was worth it. The yogurt was pretty good. And now, slide all these coils back in here. Coil packs are getting hooked up again. Here goes a connector. So you want to do the connector, and as soon as that's on, which is difficult in some cases, especially this case, there it goes. Then you'll want to put the connector back in for the harness, just like that. Coil pack connector, wiggle it, harness, coil pack connector, wiggle it, and harness. I can put the fuel line back now. That's a nice touch. I took this clip out for the fuel line right here. You want to put that back in. It definitely made things a lot easier to access if you go ahead and take that out. Two 10mm bolts right there, and there's one more that holds on. Oh, what does it hold on? I think I went and lost. Ah, yeah, that wiring harness. Okay, went and lost some parts. These are isolation mounts. Just snug them up, and you'll be good to go on those ones. Apparently they didn't want to rattle the fuel line too much. All right, I think the last piece here is this evap line I pulled off. Test port goes towards this filter right there. Get these little retainers for the airbox back where they need to be as well. They're kind of crushed. They weren't put back on correctly over the years. Okay, renowned F1 driver Sebastian Vettel, start this truck up and let's see if it runs. Check out that Infiniti logo. Man, factory projectors. Yeah, fire this thing up. Whoa, smooth, smooth. Woo! What a V8. This thing doesn't shake at all. Rev this thing. All right, Vettel, let's go whip this thing around. Plus, I want to drive it. I haven't driven this in a while.
It's ready to be driven.
Ready to be driven. It's not the BMW welcome mat, but it sure is cool. Infiniti logo projector. And it's all stock too, isn't it? Those are factory, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Front and back.
Front and back? No. Wow. That's cool. So years ago, I put a system in this truck for Scott. Plus with this thing having rear wheel steering, the headlights turn in super fast, just like BMWs do. And the steering puts this truck right where it needs to be when you're trying to maneuver at low speeds. And at high speeds, I'm sure it goes the same direction that you are turning to make lane changes super fast. Paddle shifters, 7-speed transmission. This thing always leaps into action. This is like 16th throttle, like I touched it, and it's at 20 miles an hour. And it just wants to hang out there. Only 2,000 RPM too. It puts out a lot of power. Right, so we've got a 30 roll right here, and I'm gonna stomp on it, and we'll see what this thing does. Where's traction at, actually? Is it VDC? Okay, well, sport, and then VDC off, IVDA off. All right, I pushed all the buttons. Let's see what happens. We should get the draggy out and get some times on this truck. Cruises like you wouldn't believe. Nice and chill going down the road. Grab a gear if you want to. Whip it through some corners. Man, it's awesome. And it has an analog clock. Fancy. All right, Scott, good luck with your truck. And that is it for today, guys. Please like, share, subscribe. Do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. Better to leave them better than they were. Whatever.